What was the thing you thought was a lie until you realized it was true? My mom told me that after high school, I'd lose some of my closest friends. They are going to move on and start turning into other people over time. I laughed that off because I thought we weren't going to be like that. We were just 7 unpopular kids with a hilarious group chat. We did so much together. Now, there's 2 of us left. I miss them. This here. One of my close college friends, during our final days hanging out, once asked me, do you think none of us will ever meet after we pass? And I honestly thought that's ridiculous. There is no way that I will never bump into those people someday again. It has been more than 10 years and I haven't met a single person from my college since the day we collected our degrees. We have a group chat that was last updated 3 years ago. That adults put their tongues in each other's mouths on purpose and that they like it. Legit thought the other girls in kindergarten were lying, and it made me nauseous. Later, I realized the appeal. Much later. My older uncle told me when I turned 30 buy a suit because you lines have a lot of funerals to attend. I'm now late 30s and been to 5 in the past few years. For me it was when I hit 20. It was like welcome to adulthood. Everybody you love is dying now. After a pretty sheltered childhood, it left me scared to answer phone calls from family members. First thought is always who died this time. Saying I don't know makes people think you're smarter. After 20+ years of formal education, where that was simply an unacceptable answer, it's a huge adjustment to make. That's really strange. I don't know, but I'll find out is a perfectly acceptable answer in the engineering field. Hey Jim, what happens if you tear down this load-bearing wall? I don't know, Carl, but I'll find out. The fact that actor Paul Rudd is 50 years old but looks 25. He's 50? I thought he was in his 30s? That's when he stopped aging. This guy acting like he was crazy when I got to college. He was so over the top, and since I was at an artsy school, I thought it was an act. Later in the year he launched himself from a 3rd-story balcony into the dining hall. Yeah, it wasn't an act. That most actors for teenagers and children in movies and shows are much older than the people they portray. I didn't fully believe it for years after I was told, which for me, gave me the impression that teenagers were much taller and bigger than they really were. Riverdale on Netflix is especially bad at this. These characters are supposedly not even seniors in high school yet, but the males are all extremely muscular with 10-11% body fat, have deep voices and broad shoulders, and the females all have no cellulite or wrinkles, no pimples, curvy figures and perfect hair. On top of all of that, these characters solve murders on their free time, have romantic relationships as well as friend groups, do sports, are a part of gangs, run businesses, etc. Lol, when I was in high school I considered it a good day if I woke up and that pimple I had yesterday was slightly smaller and less red. I was in my mid-20s when I discovered that narwhals were actual animals and not made up like unicorns. Narwhals swimming in the ocean, causing a commotion. Cause they are so awesome. While changing countries, I was told that I would feel a sense of homelessness and I didn't really believe it. I've been away for college and back to my home country during summer for almost 3 years now, and I have acquired a constant feeling of being misplaced both at the country I've moved to and at my home country. It's terrible. Wherever you go, there you are. The Mandalay Bay shooting. My father was driving home from Los Angeles to Utah from a business trip, and I fell asleep in the vehicle. This required driving through Vegas and right past the Mandalay Bay. We were at the site of the bay as it was happening and all of the paramedics and officers were trying to get to the scene. When I woke up, my father told me I slept through a shooting at a country concert, and I was there more or less. I thought it was a poor dad joke, and sleepily replied something not so pleasant about people who enjoy country music. It was fairly awkward later on in the evening, when I slowly realized that it wasn't a poor dad joke. Well, that's what they get for liking country. Oh god, my son is a psychopath. When I was 10 my mom was giving me the puberty talk. I thought she was lying and trying to scare me when she said that I'd wake up one day with blood in my underwear. Yeah, my little sister is afraid of blood. She has panic attacks from needles and can't watch an PG or 12 movie with blood in it. I'm her brother and think it's gonna be awful for her. Not me but a friend pirates until I told her pirate stories from the island I'm from. She thought I was joking and that pirates were made up Disney characters. Been to Disney World one too many times. Captain Ron. People eat cactus. I hear cactus juice is very thirst quenching. Drink cactus juice, it'll quench ya. Nothing's quenchier. It's the quenchiest. My father made a huge show of always putting the shiny side in on tinfoil, since as far back as I can remember. Didn't always say it, but would sometimes let me know that the shiny side bounces off the heat. I was 15 when I biked alone and was more worried about lighting the BBQ that I forgot to make sure the shiny side was in. Then a moment of enlightenment happened. That a-hole had made the world's longest joke. It dawned on me it doesn't matter. Well played, old man. Life doesn't care how hard you tried. My favorite quote image from a picture in Dragon magazine back in the 90s. No matter how right you are, no matter how hard you try, sometimes the dragon wins. I was told about Honda Edis's having weird wheels with the inner rim is a different size than the outer rim, which requires a special tire that only Michelin sells. I called BS. It turns out that for a couple years, on the touring trim level, that it was absolutely true. It was called the Michelin Pax system and fresh tires for your kid hauler could be $2,000. Screw that. Buy aftermarket wheels or just sell the dang thing. Those are unflat tires, and it not only costs more, but requires a particular machine to remove and mount new tires, so it's a whole thing. That the world is running out of beach sand. Erosion is stripping all the sand from the shores into the ocean, and desert sand is too fine to replace it. It's so bad that many countries have a sand black market. Edit. Black market is of river and beach sand to build artificial land and replenish beach sand. Was watching one of the Planet Earth documentaries last night. Parrotfish eat coral or some other hard reef stuff. I was tired. Then they poop sand. Farm parrotfish and problem solved. I'm so smart at 4 AM. Actually, one of the main reasons we are running out of beaches is indeed because the destruction of coral reefs meant the decline of parrotfish population, which means less sand poop. So yes, you're not far off. The problem lies with restoring the reefs though, not with the fish. I truly didn't believe that bedbugs were real, just thought it was a little bedtime rhyme for kids, until my parents' house became infested. Bedbugs are true hell. Joji the musician is Filthy Frank the YouTuber aka the pink suit guy known for pretending to have seizures in public until he had a real seizure himself. He quit YouTube for health reasons and focused on music to become Joji. Wild. That my friend could not be trusted. It should not have taken 11 years to accept that. If everyone around you doesn't like somebody that you're close to and has good reason for their distrust, take their word for it and really rethink if the way they treat you is truly better than just being alone. Time flies like the blink of an eye. 20 years ago I just graduated high school. 10 years ago college. Married with 2 kiddos and 1 on the way. Can't believe it's been so long. But it feels like it has happened so fast. Love your best life, people. We only get so much time. Not really thought it was a lie, but I always assumed it to be very over-exaggerated just how devastatingly exhausting it is to have a child. Boy, was I wrong. I love you. When I was deep into my eating disorder, I thought my parents always said they loved me because they had to, and that they were liars. I thought that by starving myself I would make them happy, and that they would actually love me if I was skinnier. The truth was that they loved me from the second they knew I existed. They always loved me, but I just couldn't believe them at that time. Fox News. First time I was traveling for business in the USA, I turned on the TV. Fox News was on, although it was a satiric news show. It took me 5 to 10 minutes to figure out the show was serious. I thought my parents were being cheap because I didn't like the food, wanted fries and nuggets. As I grew up, not only I grew up loving the same food, the food was fucking expensive. That there's an underground tunnel connecting England to France. It's not a very old tunnel. You are gonna regret things you do in middle school. At first I thought I wouldn't think that, but 75-85% I regret doing in middle school.